Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm back with another tag. Yes, I am. This tag is called the Consolement Tag, and it's much shorter than all the other tags that I've done so far. It's only 3 questions, and I think that's great. You know, for a change, you just get to answer 3 questions. But these questions are questions where you have to really think and just expand just a little bit. That's what it seems to me. I was tagged by Mrs. V. Thank you, Miss V, for tagging me. I really appreciate it. I did tell you that I would do the tag, and I love doing tags. So let's get started with this tag. Okay, question number 1 says, what does consolement mean to you? Consolement means to me being in a state of mind where you can comfort someone and really make them feel totally better. The opposite of how they felt before you gave them the consolement. To be able to bring that person out of whatever they're feeling, if they're sad, if they're depressed, whatever they may be feeling. If you can bring that person out, or at least make them feel a little bit better than before, then I think that is wonderful. Then you've done your job consoling that person. Consolement takes a strong person to console someone and to do it right. Because sometimes, sometimes it depends on what's wrong, actually. It really does depend on what's wrong. If a person has lost a loved one, it depends on or friend, it depends on who that person that they lost is. If it's a real close family member, sometimes consolement is not what they need at that moment. Sometimes, we can console people by speaking to them, comforting them by saying it's okay, I'm so sorry for your loss, or just by simply rubbing their back or their arm. Sometimes those type of consolements, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. I'll give an example for me. My aunt had died some time ago, and when we were doing the memorial service, one of the members of the mortuary, she came up to me because I was crying really, really hard, and she made a statement that really, it bothered me. It put a pin in me, okay? It stuck. And I know she meant well. She did. She meant well. But because of the way I was feeling, I didn't want to hear that. I'll tell you what she said. She said, that's not her. She's not there. That's not really her anymore. With me being a believer and how I believe, I know that. She was right. But that did not console me. That made things worse for me, and I almost said something to her. But I said to myself, keep your cool, because I know she meant well. I sensed that, but it bothered me. So I tell you, that was not a consolement to me. So some people can give the wrong consolement to you, and sometimes it's better to just be quiet. Sit beside the person and be a mute. Sometimes, you need to just look at the situation. Observe how the person is reacting to whatever it is that they're feeling, whether it's sadness, anger, whatever. You have to sit back and observe first. Okay, why is this person feeling this way? What's causing them to feel this way? Should I say anything? Should I not? So every situation is different. You can't always console people the way you think you want to, because you really don't know if that is the right way at the time that they need. So sometimes it's just good to be quiet. Or the best thing you can do if you believe in prayer is to just simply pray for that person. Or you can let them know that, hey, I'm here for you if you need me. But you know, consolement can be hard. It really can, because you don't want to offend anybody. You want to comfort them. But to be able to do it effectively, to me, it takes a real strong person. It takes a person who's sensitive to the needs of that person and how they're feeling. So that's what consolement means to me. Being able to console a person and be able to help bring them out of how they feel. And if you can do that successfully, then you've done your job. Question number 2. When do you know that consolement is real? Now that's kind of a interesting, odd question. When do you know that consolement is real? It's kind of hard to answer that. You know, whenever I have experienced consolement, I've never questioned, is it real or not? I mean, how will I know it's real? I'm assuming when you choose to console me, however you choose to do it, I assume right then and there that you're genuine, that it's real. I guess if you're not doing it and laughing at me, then I'm assuming that it's real. That's how I can tell it's real. I guess I could say that. I mean, who is going to console a person and be laughing? That's kind of crazy, but this is the way that I can answer that question. I guess you would feel the genuine love. You would feel the genuine expression of love from that person, you know, how they display it. If they really mean what they say. For instance, if someone says, if you need me, call me anytime. And then let's say you need them at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's just an example. You pick up the phone and say, hey, can we talk? Blah, 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 blah. I'm feeling this way. And that person is able to talk to you for a few minutes without getting upset because you called them early in the morning. Then I think that's what I call, that's real consolement. When you don't have an attitude behind your consolement. That's another thing. Having a bad attitude or an attitude like, I don't feel like being bothered talking to you, that's not good. To me, that's a fake consolement. And unfortunately, that does happen a whole lot of times. So that's pretty much how I can answer that. That's how I know a little bit of when someone is real, when the consolement is real. When I can count on you at any time of the day. And when you actually show that you are there for me. When I need to talk to you, or if I need to ask for a favor, you will do it and not come up with all these excuses. That's when I think it's real. Okay, question number 3. How do you feel when being consoled? Well, it depends on what I'm feeling, you know, the reason why I'm sad or whatever the case may be. If it's a death, if you do it with sincerity, and if you don't overdo it. I don't like it when someone constantly puts their hand on me and does a lot of rubbing and touching. That kind of irritates me. Sometimes I want to be left alone. I don't want you to say anything to me. You know, you could just put your hand on my hand or just be there with me. You know, I feel good when I'm able to accept it. You have to be in a receptive mood in order to for the consolement to be effective. I think you have to be in a good frame of mind, and sometimes depending on what's wrong at the time, sometimes you don't even want to be consoled at that time. Sometimes it does feel good to kind of wallow in that type of in that type of feeling, you know, however you're feeling, if you're feeling sad, sometimes, you know, to tell you the truth, we like to feel that feeling just for a little bit. But, you know, I feel consoled when I'm in the receptive mood to accept it. That's pretty much how it is with me. It's comforting to be consoled, but sometimes on the other hand, sometimes it's irritating. So you just have to know who you're dealing with. Who are you consoling? If it's a stranger and you don't really know them, you just have to play it by ear. You know, you have to be led by God, really. You just have to be led. You know, if it's something, or, you know, something that you should say to a person, don't be afraid to say it. Just go ahead and say it. If it's something that you should do or not do, then you just have to be willing to obey. Do it or not do it. But when I'm being consoled, you know, I can feel a lot of different things. Sometimes, like I said, I just don't want to be touched. I don't want to be consoled. I want to work out my feelings alone for a while. So that's pretty much how I feel, you know. And then sometimes the consolement from other people, it makes me feel comforted at times. So it just depends, you know. I can go either or, however way, you know. I'm not always, I don't have a one-track mind where I'm going to feel this way all the time when I'm being consoled. No, not all the time. Sometimes I'm over here, you know, where I need to be left alone, or just don't say anything. Especially if it's a situation where you're really, really, really angry. If I'm really, really angry, I don't really want anybody saying anything to me. Don't try to console me at that moment when I'm at my highest peak of anger, which I haven't gotten that way in a long time, but I'm just using it as an example. Don't console me. Just let me be. Pray. You know, I think the best way to console someone is to pray for them. If you are a believer and if you pray. If you're not, then you have to make that decision as to what you're going to do for someone. So I hope that answers all 3 questions. I did my best. But these were some very interesting questions. Wow, very interesting. And the fact that there's only 3, I like that for a change, you know, really nice. This was a very nice tag. Thank you, Miss V, again for tagging me. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to decide to tag 3 people this time. Sometimes I don't do it, but this time I will. The first person I'm going to tag is Cookie Mix 67. You are tagged. The next one will be the Diva Den. The Diva Den, you're tagged. And last but not least, Kenya's Decor Corner. All right, ladies, you've been tagged. So if you're interested, please go ahead and do this video. And I thank you guys for tuning back in. Don't forget to subscribe. Always subscribe. I really would appreciate you doing that. And you guys have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.